In this video we're going to show you how to apply our GlazeGuard gloss sealer to some porcelain tile, some wood look porcelain. We're going to put a clear barrier across the tile and grout that will give the floor a really nice wet look gloss finish. Not only will the GlazeGuard gloss beautify the ceramic or porcelain tile surface, but it's also going to make it much easier to clean, much more wear resistant and much more stain resistant. We're going to start by showing you the steps that you need to clean and prep the surface before you apply the GlazeGuard gloss. And the first product we use is CT50. CT stands for crystal technology. This is a crystal or powder, and it's a concentrate that you dilute with warm water. To give the tile and grout a good clean, we say add 2 ounces of the CT50 powder to a gallon of water. If it's not very dirty, then you can cut that down to 1 or even half an ounce. Once you've dissolved the crystals or diluted the crystals with warm or hot water, you can apply it either by mopping it onto the floor, or you can use a sprayer, a little hand sprayer or a pump-up sprayer. Just make sure that you apply it liberally onto the floor and then scrub it in with a scouring pad, either a maroon or a green scouring pad. Or if you're doing larger areas, you can use a SPP pad. This is a surface prep pad that's made by or manufactured by 3M, and it fits right under your floor scrubbing machine. Once we've used the CT50 to scrub the grout and tile, we want to rinse off any residue. You can use a wet mop to get it up, you can rinse it down the drain with clean water, or you can use a wet vac to vac it up. Once you've rinsed off any cleaner residue with clean water, you want to let the floor air dry, or you can use fans, floor fans. Important thing is to let that grout dry out. Should take 2 or 3 hours, and you can tell as the grout lightens that it is drying out. For this demonstration, we're just going to use a dry towel to dry out the floor. If you have tile that's going to be used in a wet area, like a shower floor or wall, or maybe outside on a patio or around a pool deck, then you need to take the extra step of using the pre-treat. This is a mildly acidic solution that will micro etch the tile and just give the area to seal a little bit more bite. The pre-treat can be sprayed on, it can be mopped on or brushed on, typically about 800 square feet per gallon, depending on the texture of the tile. And you need to just agitate it, scrub it in, brush it into the tile, and then let it sit for about 15 minutes and then rinse it off. Remember, the pre-treat step is an extra surface prep step that we require if you're going to use the sealer in a wet area, like a shower floor or outside, somewhere that's going to receive a lot of water, wetting and drying on a regular basis. It's not necessary to use the pre-treat in areas that aren't going to be getting wet on a regular basis. If you see any areas that start to dry out, then go back and just add a bit more pre-treat. The important thing is to keep the area wet for about 15 minutes with the pre-treat. After 15 minutes, we want to rinse off the pre-treat solution, so we can use a weak mixture of the CT50 and the rinse water just to help neutralize the pre-treat. Rinse it off, and then again let the floor dry, either air dry, or you can use floor fans, or you can have a door open just to circulate the air in the room. Now that the floor is clean and dry, we're ready to apply the GlazeGuard. And the GlazeGuard comes with an A and a B side. You mix the two together, and the ratio is 3:1 for the gloss and the satin. There's also a reducer that we include with the larger kits. The reducer is used to thin out the product, make it easier to apply over large areas. When you're doing small areas, like we're doing here, when you're using a sample kit, we don't include the reducer because it's not necessary for these small areas. So in order to mix up the GlazeGuard gloss, start with the A side, the milky side, and then while you're stirring that, mixing that, slowly add in the B side. Now the B side has a syrupy nature or texture and wants to sink to the bottom of the mixing vessel or mixing container. So make sure that you get that well mixed in and stir it up, and then let it sit for about 5 minutes and then stir it again, so that we are making sure that B side is really mixed in to the A side. Once the GlazeGuard gloss has been properly mixed together, then we can start doing the application. You can pour some material onto the tile and spread it out like we're doing in this video, or you can use a painting tray. Pour material in there and then dip from that with your roller. It's important to use a 3/8 nap roller, microfiber non-shed roller. So the microfiber does a good job of laying out the sealer and making sure you get into those grout lines. We use a non-shed roller to make sure no fibers or nap get into the sealer from the roller. Use the roller to spread out the sealer, spread it out, make sure you cover all the tile, make sure you get the sealer into the grout, and then use the roller to smooth out any roller marks or any lines that you see. Work in small sections, use the grout lines as your guide, and if you have to stop, make sure that you stop at a grout line. So if there's any overlaps, that's hidden in the grout line. And then the important thing is just to finish in one direction. So once you've spread out the product, smoothed out any lines, then come back one more time and just smooth out and roll in one direction. And that's the application completed. GlazeGuard take about 12 hours on average to dry. It does depend on the temperature and the thickness and the air movement. So make sure you just check it, make sure it's not tacky before you walk on it. If you are going to expose the GlazeGuard to water, like in a shower, then give it at least 48 hours to dry. If you're planning to place furniture back onto the floor, then again try and give it 48 hours. And either way, make sure you lift and place furniture back onto the sealer. Don't drag it across freshly applied GlazeGuard sealer. And there you are. So you have a nice protective sealer across your tile and grout. It's going to make that floor much easier to keep clean. It's going to protect it from stains. It's going to stop any odors coming from your grout lines. It also beautifies the floor, really brings out the colors in that wood look tile, and it will give you that look for many years to come.